gone are the days where we are working credit line, because as you said, if you are delivering homes, you're delivering dreams, and this is where someone has put their hard-earned money. So why have this credit line in the first place?
What's important for these people is to understand that certain costs that you're saving right now
Yeah.
is going to impact you in terms of any kind of rectification which is going to be required.
So we all know that when it comes to building homes, raw materials आपका cement, steel, pipe, sand सब लगता है. So there are times when a lot of contractors overlook what is the water, state in that. In sense, for example, I'll quote you the recent happenings which were happening in Gurgaon, NCR region, where known developers have built buildings, and later on the home buyers get to know the cement is contaminated with chloride, because the water that has been used was high in chloride, and the contractor didn't do the due diligence. So when such scenarios happen, we have noticed, of course, real estate as a market has evolved. But when it comes to hiring contractors, because when we are hearing such news, every branded players or everyone is blaming the contractor. So are we saying that we are still not matured as a company or as an organization where we are hiring professional contractors? Just because are we getting the cheap money or bigger credit line, we will hire any contractor? So I want to know from you, in this especially in this particular area of construction, do you think the contractor market is still organized and matured, and are we professional there in terms of hiring the right talent?
See, when it comes to contracting, we do our own contracting at every site. And what's the crux of contracting is you should be hands on with technical knowledge, the kind of staff that you appoint,
Hmm.
the kind of people who are working for you, because these are the actual guys for the vision that you've created are going to execute. Indian space in contracting sector is really unorganized for a very single factor that earlier the developer industry was very unorganized sector. Now with RERA coming in, a lot of
Hmm.
nitty-gritties have been more tighter. And for the fact, I'm very happy to see these things happening because people like us who wants to do straight clean cut job were getting demotivated and getting labeled because of few other players in the market.
Hmm.
In contracting, yes, the cases which you mentioned in Gurgaon and all, the problem is there's no constant lab tests being done.
Yeah.
Now, how we tackle with these kind of situations is
Hmm.
every site which MICL has in terms of its own real estate division or contracting for the other players,
Hmm.
we have labs on site which tests the steel every time it comes. More than that, my quality check team goes to the factories
Hmm.
and the rolling mills of these steel factories
Hmm.
where they get constant lab reports where under certain categories we straight away reject the steel. We even blacklist players,
Hmm.
including mills, for 1 year with a warning issued that we might ban you lifetime if next time the quality check comes problematic.
Hmm.
And we have done this in the past.
Hmm.
What's most important factor is you need to test the cement blocks for
Yeah.
the porosity, for the nature of it, the hardness. You need to test this steel in terms
Hmm.
of its chemical materials. There are a lot of chemical processing and things which are important.
Yeah.
Waterproofing is also one of the most crux criteria when it comes to construction, where there are a lot of different styles of waterproofing,
Hmm.
and every site may require a different kind of waterproofing.
True.
If you're appointing an unprofessional local contractor who
Hmm.
does not have the experience
Hmm.
or the team
Hmm.
to understand and intervene when the quality checks are not being done,
Hmm.
you're not going to get the quality product.
Hmm.
And in the end, the developer suffers. So it's very important
Hmm.
whom are you appointing
Yeah.
to construct your dream project with.
Hmm.
So it's very, very important to lay certain foundation, lay certain nitty-gritties,
Hmm.
and have a systematic approach because you are dealing with lives of people.
True.
It's
Yeah.
not just you're making this table, it's not going to impact. If
Yeah.
tomorrow you're using a faulty steel, you're using a faulty construction grade, degraded
Mm.
material,
Mm.
the columns, the structure will start getting corrosion.
Mm.
The whole building, the whole life of people is at stake,
Mm.
which a local contractor will just finish his job
Mm.
for the 2%, 5% margin which he's going to make,
Yeah.
and he'll get out.
Mm.
But tomorrow, customers will blame the developer, developer will blame the
The
contractor,
contractor.
contractor will blame the material guys who we procured from. Why not have a hands-on quality team,
Mm.
which is going to be a super body
Mm.
sitting on the developer body also and contracting body also,
Mm.
where they can lay the foundations. This is the exact way you're supposed to buy the steel,
Mm.
from whom you're supposed to buy, what kind of tests are supposed to be done. This is the exact way you're supposed to lay the cement, the
Mm.
cooling of the concrete, how it's supposed to be done, the grade of the cement which is supposed to be used. Like we are doing one of the tallest tower in the country. We are
Mm.
using an M80 grade cement. Now, had I not got a proper technical team on the job,
Mm.
probably an M60, M70 could have also been recommended. But
Mm.
we've got one of the best professionals, right from structural consultants to the MEP guys to the contracting team, which is in house, guiding us. Yes,
Mm.
the cost does escalate,
Mm.
but I would not want to make that kind of a money
Mm.
where the lives of potential customers are at risk.
So make me understand, because you are quite, you must be having quite insights into this construction side. When we hear contractors' pain points, they say, especially when it comes to real estate, builders want you to work in a credit line. So contractor has to infuse the capital. They have to buy the materials till the time the next payment happens. Until the time next payment happens, of course, they will infuse the capital. They will bring the materials. Then of course they will go for the cheaper one, right? They will go for the low quality, which will be cheap for them. And developer is happy that I have locked down a contractor which is coming up cheap to
Saving.
me, and they are doing it on credit line basis. Don't you think in both the side there should be a streamlined process? And gone are the days where we are working credit line, because as you said, you are delivering homes, you're delivering dreams, and this is where someone has put their hard-earned money. So why have this credit line in the first place?
I wish everybody understood the importance of this. This is one of the major reasons
Hmm.
why even I chose to become a developer myself. When during 2008 to 2012 days, we had extraordinary outstandings with developers
Hmm.
where we used to construct, they used to construct on my balance sheet. They
Hmm.
used to sell the house, use that money to take another plot
Yeah.
and not pay me.
Hmm.
This was one of the reasons where I saw our cash flows getting stuck very badly with
Hmm.
certain developers. And today we have stopped contracting for every single developer. We do not work for any other developer as a contractor. We do
Hmm.
joint development partnerships, but we do our own contracting only.
Hmm.
What's important for these people is to understand that certain costs that you're saving right now
Yeah.
is going to impact you in terms of any kind of rectification which is going to be required.
Hmm.
So you are protected under RERA for 5 years. Even if RERA was not there, do you think customers would not come and catch you for a faulty quality construction? And the
Hmm.
money which is going to be spent to rectify that
Yeah.
is probably 5 times, 10 times more. So
Hmm.
what's the annual saving? It's nothing. And
Hmm.
what's the risk that you're willing to take for your brand recognition,
Yeah.
your goodwill, your
Hmm.
trust? Everything is at stake.
Hmm.
Tomorrow, God forbid, one building collapses, your brand is finished, ruined. What
Hmm.
did you save? Your lifetime of achievement is finished in a fraction of a second.
True.
So we never promote these kind of practices where
Hmm.
uh, cutting short of things is required. Yes, industry is still doing it.
Mhm.
One of the insights, and especially in the steel sector, which I've seen, is a lot of faulty quality steel is getting approved
Hmm.
at multiple sites.
Hmm.
And what people do is when the lab report comes in and they see a faulty quality steel,
Hmm.
faulty as in it's not going to bend, the life of that steel is slightly lesser
Yeah.
comparatively.
Hmm.
It might get corrosion faster or
Yeah.
these kind of things. They catch hold of the steel supplier and they take further discount. They will
Okay.
not reject it. They
Hmm.
will still use it,
Hmm.
but they will ask for further discount that okay, you please give me 5,000 rupees discount per metric ton because I'm not rejecting your stock.
Hmm.
Now, these tactics happen at the lower level in the organization. A lot of time, the superior bosses are not even aware of these things. That's exactly where the quality check team comes into play. And in my organization,
Hmm.
I have created a structure where the quality check team directly reports only to me. They supersede every single contractor, they supersede every single project head.
Hmm.
Their responsibility is to give me insight like an exact external auditor. Anything faulty,
Hmm.
anything which is happening out of the box, which is not supposed to happen, you have got the full rights and authority to reject that steel example or
Hmm.
concrete or stop the site as in where it is.
So tell me, as I'm sure our home buyers and the viewers would like to know, when, as you said, these lab test reports come in and all. But if I'm a home buyer, I'm not aware. Even if I see a construction happening, कि सही material लगा रहे हैं या नहीं लगा रहे हैं. As a viewer or as a home buyer, what are the right question I should ask the developer team to know that this construction is made in? Can we ask for those reports? Can, like, as a home buyer, I want to know what's my right. What's my right to know that ये जो material जा रहा है, लग रहा है, क्या लग रहा है? Is it a good quality? Like, even if I'm investing my money down the line, like in Gurgaon, what happened? One of the Noida, what happened is one of the building fell. Right, two people, two women died. So I want to know, as a, I'm sure home buyers would also want to know from you, what can we ask when we go and purchase house? Can we ask those lab reports, or how can we go
See,
about it?
even if you ask those lab reports, you and me probably would not be the ideal person to read and understand these reports.
Hmm.
What is more important to ask is who is your developer working with? Who's your developer going to work with in the future at that same particular site? For example, which is the quality of the cement in terms of the grade of the cement? What is the kind of tiling fixtures which we are using? What is the kind of bath fixtures which we are using? Which is the brands of the lift that we are going to install? Which
Hmm.
is the brand of the windows that we are going to install? That is something which a layman can easily understand.
Yeah.
Talking about the structural report, which is the structural consultant that's working for the developer, which is the MEP consultant that's working for the developer. Because these structural and MEP consultants also have a reputation
Hmm.
and responsibility in the market.
Hmm.
Tomorrow, if an XYZ RCC consultant is given, like a falsified report of structure, and if
Hmm.
something happens, he's behind bars. They
Right.
should literally be accountable for.
Hmm.
So if you're working for any random RCC consultant, which is not very well known in the market,
Hmm.
it's very important for consumers to see the back-end team which is creating their dream home. Don't just go on these marketing tactics, brochures, and fancy photo shoots which people have been seeing in
Hmm.
newspapers or hoardings or these WhatsApp or
Hmm.
Instagram things. Go into the back end. Who's your developer working with, and what are the key strengths of the developer?
So who the developer is working with is related to the contractors, right? Who is actually building the
And
structure?
suppliers as well. Who
Suppliers
is
as
he
well.
buying from?
Okay.
Is he doing the mixing of cement,
Hmm.
reti khadi at site, or is he buying an RMC? One of the biggest factors for beautiful consistency at sites is using of RMC. We do not do any reti khadi cement mix at site.
Hmm.
We always have only RMC, which is a ready mix concrete coming in,
Yeah. Yeah.
which immediately comes in, gets poured, and the slab gets casted. Lot of time. And imagine, you might have seen lot of sites, there's this net jali which is kept, and there's a labor
Yeah.
who's taking sand and throwing it through that netted jali.
Mm-hmm.
He is actually mixing sand and cement at site without
Okay.
any measurement tools, without any lab tests, without any proper adhesives or anything mixed in it,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what is getting casted onto your slab.
And that's a great input. I'm sure now, even if I'm looking for a house, I'll keep all of those things in mind. Coming to this very important thing which you highlighted, you must be aware that when it comes to B2B platform where there are a lot of players getting into now, even Birla has announced Birla Pivot, which is entered, where in B2B procurement platform they are providing real estate and construction materials. They are streamlining the process where they can provide the wholesale pricing and financing. Um, but that raises a question that there are so many now players involved, and now there are few unicorns also, and now Birla has also announced. How will the quality control be there? I get that they have leveraged the technology for the convenience and they have provided this platform, but then how do we understand that the quality control is there? And based on your perspective, where do you see this particular B2B online platforms evolving in this real estate sector, and how it's going to create a good quality material or market or vendors coming in?
See, there are a lot of infra markets which have now been on the e-commerce platform.
Yeah.
It is good in a way that there's a lot of awareness getting spread. That a
Hmm.
lot of times your purchase team is not aware of a lot of these new companies which have come in who are doing some innovation in the market and who
Hmm.
are good.
Hmm.
These things do help a developer to source out newer and fresher materials, like right from the facades to a better quality windows
Hmm.
to a better carpet, for instance, these kind of things. But in terms of quality control, again, it has to happen in house because today, when you're sitting in this, you go on any particular e commerce website and you search for a mobile phone,
Hmm.
right from a Chinese manufacturer to an American manufacturer to an Indian manufacturer, every smartphone is available,
Yeah.
right? So you got awareness of these items,
Hmm.
but what to buy because you had knowledge that you want this feature on your mobile phone,
Hmm.
you picked the right model and the right make.
Hmm.
For developers, you will have a platter to choose from,
Hmm.
but at the end, your in house team has to be very, very strong enough to understand that these are the marketing gurus and
Hmm.
these are the delivery and quality gurus.
Hmm.
Who do you want to work with?
So, where this platform comes in this picture, whole pricing से तो अच्छा खासा rate मिल रहा है, right? So what we are also noticing, the active players who are now becoming unicorns have acquired a lot of companies who are in steel, cement, and all, smaller players. So there can be a trend where they can also sell these materials under their hood, right? Like under their name by saying ये हमारा cement है आप लीजिए and it's gonna be in this good pricing, and in comparison to already existing known brands which are there in cement or steel. Uh, the point is, later down it comes down to the pricing, right? It also comes, quality is of course important, but the pricing ki wajah se, do you feel people will prefer these companies where they are coming in, like, I'll quote, I don't want to quote brands, so I'll just quote another industry brand altogether. So there's a urban clap, right? They provide all the services. Now they have also started launching products under their name, and people are buying, customers are, from water purifier, urban clap water purifier, no one
Hmm.
knew about that, but they are selling in their app. Even they are providing from painting to all a kind of
Hmm.
home renovation services. So my question is, when it comes to such market B2B जहाँ इतने सारे funding हो रही है, इतने सारे acquisition हो रही है, where they're acquiring these steel companies, cement companies, small, uh, later on of course there can be possibility they sell it under their brand name. How a real estate landscape will look like then, because there are so many players now. As you said, of course quality is important, people should check and everything, बट अगर इतने सारे प्लेयर्स मार्केट में घुस गए हैं जिनका ऑलरेडी इतना कैपिटल उनको इन्फ्यूज किया गया है, एंड ऑलरेडी वो इतने सारे प्लेयर्स को उठा रहे हैं, तो जो आपकी नोन ऑलरेडी ब्रांड्स पहले थे सीमेंट एंड स्टील में, नाउ दे हैव कंपटीशन, राइट? कंपटीशन मे बी विद द प्राइसिंग.
ये इनडायरेक्टली एक तरीके से थोड़ा बेनिफिट जो मैं पर्सनली मानता हूँ वो होगा इज बिकॉज ऑफ दीज लार्जर जायंट्स having monopoly in the past, they had certain premiums which they were charging.
या.
With these added smaller players coming in and getting acquired by these prop tech companies, I would say, or fintech companies investing in these infra companies, what's happening is they've got a marketing budget to spend. Actually, they are discounting is cash burning. So what they're using is the money for marketing, they're implementing it on to discount the product and capture the market. Once they've captured the market share,
Yeah.
these guys are gonna get expensive eventually. Like how the Uber of the world did, like the Uber prices earlier and the surcharges now. It's very different. Zomato's You see the delivery prices which were earlier and now,
Hmm.
they've now captured the market. They've acquired the smaller people who are trying to be the giants,
Hmm.
again gain the monopoly,
Hmm.
and then charging their own premium. What's going to get difficult, I feel, in this manner is there's too much of offerings happening.
Yeah.
You'll have to sort it out eventually, because what's happening is it's just repackaging. If you see that somebody
Hmm.
was selling steel on their name,
Hmm.
now the larger player is bought over the company, and
Hmm.
now this is my steel.
Yeah.
But what a person needs to see, that is it a repackaged steel brand,
Hmm.
or is the original ancestor who had the quality,
Hmm.
who had those nitty-gritties which a construction company requires,
Hmm.
or is it just a gimmick by the newer larger giant who's picked that up
Hmm.
and just showcasing on their brand strength,
Hmm. Hmm.
or whether they've, after acquiring that particular steel company or cement company,
Hmm.
have they done changes in the quality? That's something which would be more important. But for a layman, it's going to get slightly difficult to understand these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I see a crowding of competition happening in
Yeah.
every industry.
Yeah.
If you see the developers which were there back then and now, of course,
Hmm.
they've multiplied. So, I mean, competition is somehow healthy, I feel, where the offerings would be more. But
Hmm.
yes, you need to be focused on what exactly you want to pick and choose.
But in the developer front, we have RERA, right? So when it comes to such construction companies, or when it comes to such B2B players, do we have certain kind of a law body who's monitoring these things? Or
So, RERA monitors, and RERA is defined to keep transparency right from a consumer buying an apartment
yeah.
to delivery and post delivery 5 years.
Hmm.
That's the RERA norm. RERA, as far as my information goes, does not define you that this is the exact steel code what you're supposed to buy. These steel codes and all are binded by the other governing bodies.
That's what I want to know. In construction, when such
Yes, so there are a
companies
lot
are
of
there.
these norms by the government. Like recently, the National Construction Code
Hmm.
states that you're not allowed to take girders for a better strength of the building. So the column needs to go from ground to up top in certain category of the buildings. They don't
Hmm.
allow you to float these columns,
Hmm.
which gives a better stability, better life of the building. So there are a lot of these norms which have been binded on us, which creates a pro quality construction.
Hmm.
But yes, there are a lot of these things which absolutely is not governed by RERA.
Hmm.
RERA is mainly to keep transparency in agreement.
Yeah.
You cannot sell before permissions. Okay, you've delivered now. Now the quality what you've delivered, you have to maintain that.
Hmm.
So RERA will not allow you to bind it on these things. But yes, there are other codes and protocols which a developer has to go through, because there are a lot of departments in the industry, right? From MOEF, say, when we're doing larger projects above 4,000 square meters,
Hmm.
you know, the environmental body comes in. How many trees? What trees? Where the shadow of the building is getting landed?
Hmm.
Where will which species go? Um, what is the pollution control norms that you're utilizing? Are
Yeah.
you doing rainwater harvesting? Are you doing
Hmm.
stormwater drainage? Are you having
Hmm.
a waste management plant at
Hmm.
that site? There are a lot of these things which are getting played into the industry,
Hmm.
which is a bylaw compulsion which all the
Yeah.
developers have to give in larger projects.
Hmm.
And in smaller projects there are slightly less protocols, because the size of the project is such where certain things are not required or certain things may not fit in.
True. And as I said earlier, also MICL has an outstanding track record in construction and delivering these bigger infra projects and all. And as we were discussing about this B2B market where procurement and construction and tech-enabled streamlining process is happening, and Brilla Pivot already has established one of its vertical arm, which will be active in this particular space. Will we be also looking into MICL getting into this particular zone?
See, we've done reverse integration
Hmm.
where we've got our own contracting team, and now we've started manufacturing our own concrete as well. So we are into RMC space.
Yeah.
We are not trading it uh, on any e-commerce platform, but
Hmm.
yes, we are supplying concrete to a lot of developers today in the city.
Hmm.
So we've got more than 7 plants running in the city,
Hmm.
where we have the same principles of quality control checks and lab tests and everything done of
Hmm.
our very own concrete.
Hmm.
And this division is run parallelly. It's a separate company altogether under the umbrella of the listed entity.
Hmm.
And we're doing quite well in that space, where we are supplying concrete for our own projects also, and we're supplying concrete to other developers as well. But getting into the technological platform, I think it's more of a complete deviation from
Mm.
the crux business. And currently, I don't have any plans to diversify into that space because I would then do injustice to my principal brand.
Makes sense. So I want to know, now we are getting a lot of news when it comes to the air pollution level. This is the time, or even whenever festival is around, this is the discussion going
Right.
on. When even government talks about bans, when the constructions are happening from the developer side or any infra which is creating a increase in the air quality. So what's your take on that?
Keeping the environment clean,
Mm,
yes, I am with it. But why just blame the developers? How many infrastructure projects are going around in the city? Metro is getting constructed, monorail is getting constructed, coastal road is getting constructed, your Trans Harbour Link road is getting constructed.
yeah.
Every single road in the city is dug up,
Mm,
where the metro pillars are getting raised, the roads are getting revamped.
mm,
Even that's creating a lot of dust and pollution.
mm,
Developer lobby is, I feel, always been blamed upon because they feel this is a richer lobby. So any implication
mm,
can be easily absorbed by the developers, but that's not the case. The
mm,
margins have thinned over time.
yeah.
There's extraordinary competition. The costs have shot up tremendously.
Mm,
We are up to maintain the environmental pollution norms and everything.
mm,
But boiling it down to one industry, I feel that's absolutely incorrect in my sense, because I mean, when you're doing metros of the world and spaces like extension of sea links and coastal roads,
mm,
that's also creating phenomenal pollution in terms of dust and other things. Even those needs to come in under the same play where
mm,
we've been told to increase the barricade height. We've been told to add on to these special smog machines, which traps the dust particles from flying off and it settles down on the
yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
We agree to it, but how many of these other infrastructure players have been doing it on the road? I've
Mm,
probably not seen any dust control happening when the
mm,
metro pillars are getting built or any of these other spaces getting
mm,
constructed. So I think if there's a norm coming in, it should be equally implemented onto
mm.
the entire industry, right from infrastructure to construction, and not just on developers.
So right now the focus is on sustainability, right? What as a MICL brand is doing when it is working in ongoing projects, how you are implementing or incorporating such sustainable practices in your projects.
See, right from the simplistic methods like rainwater harvesting system,
Yeah.
stormwater, solar panels, that we've been doing at majority of our projects. But what unique things that we are doing is, see, sustainable and maintainable and long lasting.
Mm,
These are three aspects. Sustainable is currently the new marketing word used by a lot of developers, but under the compromise of quality. Why? Because when you're doing sustainability, it comes at some cost because you have to put in more measures, you have to put
yeah.
in more efforts to, keep it long lasting. But there are smarter ways where you can still make it sustainable
Mm,
and long lasting. Because the moment if it's sustainable and not lasting long, that means you have to redo it.
yeah.
And that doesn't make it sustainable.
Mm,
So, what we are doing is we started doing certain measures even in our larger and premium projects by starting to provide porcelain tiles for the flooring
mm,
rather than using marbles. Yes, manufacturing of tiles also creates a bit of pollution, but it's still under the controlled environment
mm,
where the water which goes out of the factory is treated. There are certain pollution norms which have been adhering to these factories as well. They're using a lot of these solar plants to manufacture these things, so they're reducing the carbon emissions
yeah.
and the physical pollution also.
Mm,
In marbles, typically what happens is you are actually breaking a mountain
yeah.
where you're eroding forests,
Mm,
you're knocking down the natural this thing. So we're trying to reduce and curtail the use of marbles
mm,
into our sites by giving them porcelain tiles, which is a man-made uh, construction element.
yeah.
This is one of the things. Secondly, what happens in marbles, we've observed is a lot of times developers specifically write in their brochures
Mm.
Italian marble flooring.
Yeah.
Italian marble flooring, okay, very good. You're giving one of the best products in the world. But are the customers, after using and taking the possession, polishing it, keeping it maintained?
Mm.
Do you know that if your marble breaks by a hammer falling onto it or any accident, that particular patch is not replaceable by the same marble because marble is a natural phenomena.
Yeah.
And to replace the marble, you'll always find a patch.
Yeah.
Okay, that this spot is rectified.
Mm.
But in a tile, I can print the exact same tile
Mm.
and order it into the factory, and nobody even knows that this tile was rectified.
Mm.
Small, small things. Second, a tile you will never have to polish.
Mm.
It's always shining, glossy, maintenance free, stress free.
Yeah.
But marble dulls probably in 20 days' time, depending on the human traffic
Mm.
who's walking on it.
Mm.
And if you see the five-star hotels of the world, you will always see in the night time, if you travel, two people with a polishing machine roaming around
Yeah.
you full time.
Yeah.
आप रूम से बाहर निकलो तो कारपेट को वॉश कर रहे, आप लॉबी में 24 आवर्स कैफे में अगर रात को 12 बजे चले जाओ, बाजू में आपको सिर्फ मार्बल पॉलिश करते दिखेंगे.
Mm.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So we started using porcelain tiles. Second thing, what we started to do is we've created a concept called as daylight conservation.
Mm.
Now, when we do daylight conservation, what happens is we typically allow maximum daylight possible inside the house,
Mm.
even in washrooms. So typically, when you go back home, to all the viewers who are watching it probably, if you go to your washroom, you will always have to switch on one light
Yeah.
because the light is not reaching the house where it's supposed to be.
True.
We've got majority of our washrooms
Mm.
facing outside and not inside a loop duct,
Mm.
so that the natural light and air
Mm.
circulates the duct and it reaches your bathroom. So in the daytime, you don't have to switch on the lights. Plus, the windows that we offer in majority of our projects, in fact, all of them, is floor to ceiling, allowing maximum light and ventilation inside your bedrooms and living rooms as well.
Mm.
So automatically, you don't have to use fans, ACs.
Yeah.
Yes, in summer it does get hot, you need a fan or an air conditioner.
Mm.
But if your house is nicely cross ventilated,
Mm.
if it's breezy enough, you don't need to use these things during the daytime. In the afternoon, you can just keep the window open
Mm.
and relax. So these are small, small things
Mm.
which we started adding to make it more sustainable, save on energy consumptions, save on maintenance post handover,
Mm.
because the developer has created something and it's handed over to you. But a lot of times the societies are not maintaining it.
Yeah.
And the moment you're not maintaining it, the after cost is far more. So rather we understand the market, that this society will accept these kind of things
Mm.
and this society will maintain or will not maintain. It does not depend on the genre,
Mm.
but it just depends on the mindset which we have usually seen it in the local markets.
True.
And we give the materials accordingly.